Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Y-Wing. Yep, that's right, I said it, the Y-Wing. I am doing my attempt at a Starfield interpretation for the Star Wars ship. I think it's always important when you are playing, if you are doing a bunch of experimenting and playing around, that you take some inspiration from outside sources, and Star Wars is, of course, one of the best. The downside, of course, is that Starfield ships do not make fighter jets, or fighter spaceships, or whatever they're actually called. Um, there's no, you're sitting in the cockpit and you have enough space to turn your head, and that's about it. Any Starfield ship, you can get up, you can walk around in, you can sit and move and do all that sort of stuff. So we are taking basically building an upscaled version of it. Now, one of the things that you will note here is that I am not going for the original trilogy Y-Wings with the kind of exposed bits back here. I am instead aiming for, I guess, the Clone Wars era. I'm not all that up to date on my Star Wars lore, but I went looking for pictures online, and there were these Y-Wings that looked less like they were built out of sticks and more like they were actually designed to do something. So, this is my rendition of that. And I might need to go into a New Game Plus soon, because I am getting lag everywhere. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the interior tour. So, of course, I'm using the Tyro Frontlander, and we are immediately entering into the armory. And this could be either a Deimos or a Stroud. I believe this one is a Stroud, but interior-wise, it's basically the same. Right here, we have the docker. So this is the only entrance to get in and out of this ship, no matter how you do it. And then we come to the back over here, and we have a ladder that goes up and a hallway that goes to each side. Let's go this way first. So at the end of the hallway, we are in a one-by-one companionway. And then when I hop on up here, we see that we are in a 2x1 all-in-one berth. So we've got 4 beds, a bathroom, and a galley over here. Coming on over to the other side, and we see that we have the Tayo 2x1 captain's quarters. So this ship has 5 beds, 2 baths, and a small kitchen. Then, straight from the middle, we have one of the control rooms. I think this is going to be the Tayo, but I'm not 100% sure. Moving forward, we enter into the cockpit. This is one of the Viking cockpits. And now we can just look out at the thunderstorm and rain and all that fun stuff. And that is my Y-Wing interior. Now this is an Escort class ship, which means that it is limited to Starship Design rank 2. However, I wanted a ship that would live up to the, well, Y-Wing, and that means that I had to have a pair of lasers on the nose, and then I had to have some missiles to represent bombs, or proton torpedoes, or whatever it is that they actually used. And then I added some other weapons just that way, I can actually run this and hopefully be effective on extreme difficulty. We'll see if that actually works out or not. So you can see I went ahead and I made this a Class C ship. Let's go ahead and hop into the shipbuilder and just take a quick look around at it. And of course you can see the stats on the bottom here. Um, so as I said, I made this a Class C ship, and the reason I made this a Class C ship is in my experimenting around, you can do an effective Class A ship with, two ranks of Starship Design that is designed to run around and kite. So what I mean by that is we can go ahead, load up the ship with particle cannons, and fly at a distance, and hopefully outrange our opponents. However, since one of my restrictions for this is I needed a minimum of a pair of lasers, well, these lasers have a range of 800. This means I need to get up close. Uh, Class A ships do not survive that well up close. Class B ships survive okay up close, but not great. However, Class C ships have enough shield and hull available that, we can actually make tangling with somebody an actual option. So the weapon choice for this ship dictated what type of reactor I used. I could very easily swap this out for a Class A reactor, load myself up with some particle beams, and have this be, well, a fighter. But that would mean that it's not running those lasers that I wanted to use. So, all that being said, let me go ahead and delete this ship. Now, in case it wasn't very obvious, I am making heavy use of the ship flip glitch, and in case you didn't see the missiles, that is perfectly okay. I hid them because I wanted them to be coming out of the proton torpedo tubes on the side and not just like missiles located up top. So, let's go ahead and get to this. I need to come on over to my Habs, and then come on down and find my Stroud 2x1, and this is going to be my armory. And then directly above that, I'm going to need my tile all-in-one berth B. Control station, and fine, be that way. Next up, I need to go ahead and grab my Nova cross passages. And then at the end of the cross passages, I'm grabbing the tire companionway 1x1 bottom. And then I'm going to come on down here and grab my all-in-one berth B top. I need the B variation because I'm attaching things to the side of it. And then captain's quarters. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the landing bay. And then I'm going to grab my cockpit, which is just the best Viking cockpit that you can get, which is going to be the CP220, the mill. Now, the reason I pulled this off is because it doesn't want to fit there. If I look at that, I don't know if it's because the top hatch is interfering with like the hitbox for the weapons, or the tire bay just doesn't like something, but it just does not want to fit there. So I need to flip this into place. So it's sitting here, flip, flip, cancel, ta-da, we're done. There we go, we did it. Alright, next, I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to grab my docker. Alright, that is it for the habitable portions of the ship. Let's go ahead and see what we're going to do next. Let's start with the reactor. Now, again, I am limiting myself to Starship Design Rank 2, so that would open up the Spheromac DC-201, and that is what I was using when I was considering this as a Class A ship. However, after fiddling around a little bit, I decided, no, let's make this a Class C, so that way we get that extra durability. So, Saying that I'm a Class C ship, let's take a look at the reactors we have to choose from. The Pinch C9 gets us 30 power. The SF30 gets us 34 power. And then the Fuser DC402 gets us 34 power. So we've got basically two choices, the DC402, or as I said, was the Pinch C9. Nope, not Pinch C9. Uh, SF30 shared flow. You can use whichever one you think looks cooler. I did this one because I wanted to go ahead and stick the shield on top. It's the Odin 3040C. And I did this just because it looks kind of like the astromech droid. However, if you wanted to use the other reactor, you can move the astromech droid forward one. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and grab my landing gear. So this ship is using 4 pinpoint 4G landing gear, and that's it. Now that I've got that, let's go ahead and grab my grav drives. Now for this ship, I'm using the Helios 400. We are a little too heavy to use the Helios 300 or the R3000, but we are still light enough that 27 grav jump thrust gets us where we need to go. So that's the Helios 400, the R4000, or we can pop on into the Class B reactors and do the Aurora 11G. Since we already have Starship Design, the Helios 400 is cheapest. Next up, since we're back here already, let's go ahead and finish the engines. Now, the best engines for Starship Design Rank 2, I think, are the SA4110s, and they also perfectly match the aesthetic that I'm going for with this ship. On top of that, I can use just 4 of them, and I'm still going to be pushing, what's it called? About 73 mobility, which is enough for kind of more a heavy brawler. I could go ahead and find somewhere to hide another engine. With these engines, I could even go ahead and do like this and hide an engine right here where it's kind of blowing into the engine behind it. And then, it's there. But I'm okay with just 70 something mobility on this ship. Now then, next, let's go ahead and grab my fuel tanks. Now, one of the things that I have seen other people using is either the M40 or more like the M50 tanks, and we can just stick them on the side like this, and it gives these engines kind of a more complete look. So, we're going to do that. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at some structural components. There's going to be a lot of structural components on the ship, by the way. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and grab a Tayo midcap. And I am going to duplicate that into place. And then pull this over here, and then flip it around until it looks like that. So I am hiding the grav drive a little bit. It's not necessary to do this, but if you don't do this, then you want to swap to the R4000 grav drive so you have the side mount points. Alright, next up, on this bottom portion here, I am using the Daimler's Bumper 4. And the reason I'm using this is because on the top piece here, I am using the Nova cowling because that kind of smooths nicely in. And I really wanted to use the Nova cowling right here as well, just kind of inverted, But if I wanted to do that, I need the Better Ship Parts Flips mod, or Better Ship Snaps mod. I don't remember exactly which one, but I need a mod that will allow this to flip upside down, basically. All right, now moving on, let's go ahead and grab some structural pieces that don't really matter much. I'm going to slap some Tayo cowlings on the fronts of these engine pods. Then it is time to go ahead and actually let's go ahead and grab the cargo here. So for this ship, I'm using some of the Gamma 1010 cargo holds. And you will note that I can get two of them to fit perfectly right there, just like that. And that is all the cargo this ship needs. Now, if you want more mobility and you are okay with less cargo, you can swap these out for the Gamma 1000s. That's going to save you 8 mass per, which might be enough to gain back, 1 to 5 mobility, something like that. Or you can just delete these and call it a day, as many or as few as you want, and, put something like, say, a Stormax cargo hold in if you want to fill that space. Or nothing. Nothing is also a good choice. Coming back on over here to structural components. Well, let me just grab my equipment plate and slap it on right there, since it's staring me in the face. Alright, and then I am going to come on down to the Stroud components. Not Stroud, Nova Galactic. That's what I was thinking of. Alright. And I'm going to then I'm going to flip this into position right here. So that is clipping in with that Nova cowling, but not the end of the world. Next up, I'm going to copy this again, flip it. I'm going to flip it into place here. Don't worry, I will be removing these shortly after I have the basic hull in place. Alright, and then flipping this here. Alright, now that that is all in place, let's go ahead and grab this here. And we are going to stick a pair of these right here. And then we are going to come on down to the Stroud cap. That's not the cap I meant. Stroud cap A's. There we go. And then I don't like how this is going, so I'm going to go ahead and plop in some more Tayo cowlings. There we go. Clipped in just like so. All right. Now then, we can just kind of look through this. I am going to need these Tayo side caps, and I need them with the weapon mount. And just copy these over here. Just do a quick check to see if I'm missing anything. Ah, yes. Need a pair of these because I am just flipping them on right there. Just to kind of fill that space a little bit. It's not clipping into the walkable area any, but it makes it feel less open and exposed, in my opinion. Another alternative is you can just say heck with it and do some companion waves here to just properly fill that space out. Be about the same mass, too. Yeah. Anyways. Alright. So, now that I have all that in place, it's time to talk weapons. I'm going to start back here by pulling these two pieces off, and then pulling these two pieces off. And just slap them on right there. Then, I'm going to go ahead and put these Taio side caps in right here. And this here is where I'm hiding my missile launchers. Again, as I said, I wanted it coming out of the torpedo tubes, which are, I'm pretending that these would be it. So I'm just sticking the missiles on these caps and then hiding them so they will be emerging from here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what weapons I'm using. So since I have Class C, I went ahead and just grabbed whatever seemed nice and big and full of boom. And what I decided on here was the Devastator 1500s. These require 3 power each. So I can fit 4 of them on right there. Now that that's done, and flip these into place. All right. I need to assign weapons. I will get to that in a bit. Next up, as I said when I was introducing the ship, one of the core things that I just had to do was stick a pair of lasers on right here. So I went ahead and after looking some things over, I decided on the Riza 300 pulse lasers. So Class C, and then if I was not playing on extreme difficulty, I would probably just stop at this and the missiles and just say, hee hee hee, I'm a Y-Wing. Don't get me wrong, I am very tempted. But because I want to demonstrate that these ships still work, even on extreme difficulty, I'm going to be maxing out some more of my weapon slots so that way we can properly demonstrate it. Then, finally, because I have missiles and I have lasers, I decided let's wrap things up with some autocannons. And I went ahead and tossed on a quartet of the MKE-4A auto Gauss guns. I would, of course, like better auto Gauss guns, but, well, let's just say that I still only have Starship Design rank 2. And you can just toss these on literally wherever you want. I think I might have had them up here earlier, but, let's put them back here. Why not? Not about the same spot as down here, right? Alright, I have one error left. It's that I need to assign weapons. Surprise, surprise. And then I forgot to grab my colors, so let's go with kind of a gray and gold. That's close enough to what I had. There we go. Looks close enough. Alright. So that is the Y-Wing. You'll notice that I have 53 equip power, 73 mobility, and I'm still getting that 29 light year jump range. If I wanted to get better mobility, well, if I delete the cargo, I'd go up to 100. So that is an option. It's not the best option, but it's an option nonetheless. I will note that if you wanted to do that, one of the things that you could do here is you could go ahead and replace this with a 2x1 berth right here. And that would give you another 2 slots for either more hab space or something. However, I want my escort ships to still have some cargo, and we're just gonna go ahead and try it with this, and then if we find ourselves struggling a little too much, we will reduce our cargo later. So, now that that's done, let's see how the ship performs in combat. Alright, that looks like a good enough distribution of power. So I am using auto weapons, so I can just go ahead and empty my magazines. Ooh, that is a very pretty red. I like that. Alright. And two. Looks like I get 8 shots with my missiles before I need to reload. So, let's go ahead and come on out to Serpentis and see who wants to party. Alright. Alright. That actually worked out fairly well. And again, I am on extreme difficulty. So, alright. I need to get some distance and repair. Whee! Alright, fine. You want to play that way? Alright. So, 3-on-1, we can see that it is still struggling. I'm not overly surprised because, again, I am using missiles and lasers and I have low mobility. But let's go ahead and give this another shot. Again, I think that I would absolutely dominate these guys if I turned the difficulty down. So, please always keep that in mind. Alright, and let me go ahead and get some distance. Come on, can you please lock onto a different target? Yes, I get it. Okay. Three Veyron ships at extreme difficulty is probably more than the ship can handle then. Alright. Yes, third time's the charm. Oh boy. So, again, this was with what's widely considered to be a suboptimal set of weapons. But again, we are on extreme difficulty and only Starship Design rank 2, despite the fact that I am level 146 and on New Game Plus 2. So I don't know exactly what kind of scaling is going on, or if there is any scaling going on, but the easiest way to go ahead and enjoy a ship like this is to turn down the difficulty level. I know. Everybody wants to say that they play at extreme, but you know, it's always fun to just go ahead and futz around some with different things. So now that I've got that all out of my system, let me go ahead and pop into photo mode really quick. And let's just get a picture or two. Ooh, that's actually kind of a cool shot. We can have the planet and two moons with a ship in between. I think that's going to be the title picture. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please go ahead, subscribe, hit like, do all those YouTube things. And yeah, I will see you next time.